So let's talk a little bit about policing in Britain, which, according to Ms. Shabana Mahmood, is doing very, very well. Bravery, duty, honor, that is what makes our police officers the finest in the world. We honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for this country and for us all. Firstly,
obviously we honor the people that made a sacrifice, but
obviously,
can we say that British police are the finest in the world these days?
Well, it's not, I hear politicians repeatedly saying, we're going to improve the criminal justice system, we're going to recruit another 20,000 police officers. But that's not the problem. The problem is the police officers we've got don't know what they should be policing, or certainly they're not policing the right things.
Correct.
We get 12,000 investigations each year now into non-crime hate incidents.
Yes.
This is not where police efforts should be going. And so recruiting any number of police officers is never going to solve the problem. What we need is a complete root and branch reformation, or restoration rather, of the country,
yes,
so that the police understand what their job is.
Yes, yep. And this is a major problem, like the politicization of the police, because it comes through the College of Policing, where they're insanely woke.
Yes,
and they give them instruction in things that, frankly, these people are not intellectually equipped to deal with.
No.
Are you going to have an argument about the intellectual merits of transgender philosophy with a police officer? No, they don't know. They don't know what they're talking about.
They are instruments of the criminal justice system. They're not meant to be political activists.
Yeah, they're not going to break out Judith Butler and go, yeah, well, it is a social construct, isn't it?
Can we debate this through?
Exactly. They don't know. And the thing is, it's not fair to make them know, or to expect them to know.
No, nor should they be.
They should be there to keep the peace and to arrest people who've broken the law. That's literally all they're for. So why are we having political conversations through the medium of the police?
Yeah.
Exactly. And as Labour panics and is in complete chaos, what they're doing is obviously doubling down on this, and while completely ignoring crime. So you have this gentleman here, 2 men forced themselves into his home.
This is
apparently produced some kind of fake tenancy agreement, and now he's had to move in with his parents because they've literally taken away his house.
The police are like, yeah, this is a civil matter. And it's like, no, this is not. This is someone has stolen my house from me.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if this guy had children.
Oh my God.
And what do you do then? You just let them be homeless?
Yeah.
But what are the police actually working on? Well, they arrested Northern Variant recently for a meme that said F Hamas, F Palestine, F Islam.
And that was the bit that got him.
That was the bit that got him.
But apparently, under the Public Order Safety or whatever Act of 1986, against racial hatred. But where's the race in any of what he said?
But that's the point, isn't it? And that's what the Labour, they're bringing the new Islamophobia definition.
Yes.
To do is to essentially render Islam a kind of racial property.
So we've already got that, haven't we?
Yeah,
if they're arresting people, effectively, they've already implemented the law.
They're implementing a blasphemy law.
Yeah, they're implementing
a blasphemy law. They can be enthusiastic when it suits them.
But it goes a bit further than that, though, because to say Islam is a racial property of, well, the Muslims, I suppose we'll call them, it is to create a kind of ontological and metaphysical declaration of what it is to be a Muslim. And therefore the Muslims can't not be Muslims. They're not allowed to change their opinion.
Yes.
They're not allowed to change their mind, because then they would lose the status that the
protection.
Yes. But not just that. It's the protection, but the government has kind of committed it to them.
Yes.
It's like saying, no, you are this thing. You are now the victim. You're not allowed to change your mind. You're not allowed to critique Islam or anything like that. And so the very idea that Islam is a religion is actually not really true by what the government interpolates it as. It's like there's more to say on it, but I don't want to keep going. But it's actually really, really perverse.
Yes,
right? It's really
because Islam prides itself on the idea that it is non-racial.
100%.
There's an enormous amount of racism in Muslim societies, but it prides itself on being non-racial. And it seems that the police are just completely clueless, because Dave Atherton and Tommy Robinson were spoken to by the police about this meme. It got absolutely nowhere. There was nothing to charge, but they still went after Peter North for posting the same meme.
Well, did he post it or did he retweet it?
I think he posted it.
I think he posted it. But I posted it again in solidarity.
Religion is a protected characteristic under British law. So saying F Islam kind of is, by their own standards, But that's the point.
But if you want to go down this route, the Quran makes it clear that Jews and Christians are kuffar and are unbelievers.
Hey, man, you know,
And it also legitimates all kinds of violence against kuffar.
you don't have to persuade me.
So-
You've got to persuade the British government, you know,
Well, yeah, fair enough.
who
fair
appear
enough.
to be a fully Islamic state at this point,
Yes.
frankly.
Yes, that they are beholden and terrified of the Muslim mob, and they are behaving accordingly. And there is no principle behind it. The police officers apparently didn't know what Hamas was.
I know, that's just outrageous, isn't it?
Now, I don't know if they were playing coy,
Which they may have been.
which they may have been, or if they're genuinely that stupid.
Well, I mean, is it their job to know what Hamas is? No, not really.
You have to have been asleep under a rock
You do, yeah.
not to know what Hamas
You do.
is.
But I mean, if I was a police officer, I'd probably not want to get involved with politics
No.
at the end of the day either.
It is a proscribed
Yep.
terrorist
It
organisation.
is, yeah, it is.
Yep. But they also detained
These British
two of the
first
leaders
lot,
of Britain
yeah.
First. And I just want to play this clip because it's absolutely hilarious to show you the extent of confusion by the police. Firstly, notice that the lady officers look like they're teenagers.
You're just holding us up for no reason.
Okay,
Well, have we committed a crime?
we're just trying to have a discussion at the minute. Obviously,
No,
it's
I'm asking you a question. Have we committed a crime?
So there's the feminization aspect of it. Let's just have a chat. I don't want to chat with you.
Yeah.
Either
Why
I'm
are
under
you
arrest
detaining
or
me?
I'm not.
Why are you detaining me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Either I'm under arrest or I'm not. I don't want to chat.
At the minute, you've got the word wanker that's displayed on the
So?
side. So someone might take offence to
I wonder who
that.
that's
I know
talking
obviously
about.
You might see it as a different way.
But that's not a
technically,
crime, is it?
It's a public order offence.
The only person who would take offence to that is Keir Starmer. Everyone else agrees with it.
I'm not saying anything.
And we have the polling to demonstrate that everyone else agrees with it. Let's not forget that.
Scientifically
He's
proven.
not lying. Paul Golding is not
in
lying.
terms
Okay.
of that, I've got to remain biased, but that's obviously why I've come down to.
But if we've not committed a criminal offence, then can we go?
Well, just for the time being, we've got.
It's in terms of you've got Britain First written on the side
Yeah.
of the van.
So?
do you?
What's wrong with
It's a
that?
prescribed organisation.
No,
Teenage
it's not.
girls doing? Like,
This isn't the worst part.
Well, you said they weren't
s-
prepared to get involved in politics.
Yes.
here
Now
we go,
they've
yeah.
misdescribed Britain First.
we
They
just want to have a
described them as a
discussion.
proscribed organization
Yeah, they
because
know.
on one of their manuals, when they looked up Britain First,
Yeah.
they found far right.
Yes.
They assumed that everybody far right is proscribed
Yeah.
by definition because we don't tolerate the far right. And therefore, they decided to proceed as though they had some legal basis for their actions. So the stupidity of the police and the youth and naivete of the police are really problems here. Because anybody with experience and any decency is left already. We saw the gentleman who was fired from the police because he said some nasty words to a guy that he was arresting, who was trying to stab someone. It was a couple of months ago. And now you have these... I mean, their ability to exercise authority is predicated on British men's restraint.
I was going to come to this.
Absolutely. Because if they decide to push back,
Well, that was
What
the
are they
thing.
going to do?
you know, what are they going to do? Yeah.
It's all assumed that the average Englishman will just comply with the police. And
Exactly.
that's why they think they can send £100.
But they're putting
Soaking
them in
wet young
danger.
li-
These
They
poor
are.
girls are in danger.
Yeah.
They're brainwashing them and putting them in danger. And as Orwell said, the most vicious
Party
party
adherents, yeah.
operators were the young women. They know that the process is the punishment. They're willing to go through the process. For Pete North, he had some kind of autism episode that really could have gotten him killed because of his blood pressure issues. They took him and questioned him for 5-6 hours in the middle of the night. They had no reason to show up at night.
All outrageous.
They're using this for the same reason. They're using this process as punishment. And here with the Britain First guys, they found that they had nothing to arrest them for. So they summoned a traffic officer from half an hour away
Check the vehicle.
to check the vehicle to see if they could find some reason to stop that vehicle and
So-
threaten to impound it.
This goes back to where we started the discussion. How can the police possibly control crime if this is how they're behaving?
What crime are they concerned about?
Yeah, what crime are they concerned about?
They're looking for the crime.
And there can be no better example, if I can just quickly say this,
Yeah,
there can be
please.
no better example of how our criminal justice system clearly isn't working. Last year, at the time that they were releasing dangerous repeat criminals from prison to make room in prison cells, they were incarcerating people for what they'd said on X.
Yep, over Southport.
Over Southport. Absolutely absurd.
Lucy Connolly, threat to the peace.
Yeah, Peter Lynch, a threat to the police. 61-year-old grandfather who sadly then took his own life in prison because he couldn't cope with it. The whole system needs rewiring. It's a deep dive of rewiring the system.
It's an expressly political system, though, isn't it? The criminals are not a political threat to the Labour Party. In fact, they'll cheer Keir Starmer when he lets them out of jail. So they're not a problem. They don't threaten the political integrity of the system. It's you saying Keir Starmer is a wanker. That does.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to be arrested for that.
Well,
I'm just going to say I repeated what the crowd was saying. It wasn't me, Gov.
Stand on it. Stand on it. We need our martyrs.
We definitely. They arrested George Galloway on terrorism charges. I mean, he was coming back from Russia, and they asked him about his views of Sergei Lavrov. Why is he a fan of Sergei Lavrov? I have my views why I respect Sergei Lavrov. He's very good at what he does. And when Liz Truss was foreign secretary, he absolutely
He's
humiliated
the foreign
her.
minister of Russia.
The foreign minister of Russia.
I didn't want to put my foot in it, but
He's a very capable, old, experienced diplomat,
capable.
Isn't he?
Extremely capable. Love him, hate him, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But he's obviously capable. They asked him about his views of Xi Jinping. They asked his wife why she had painted her nails in the Palestinian flag.
Really?
and they not know who George Galloway
5 hours.
They would have preferred an entire flag wrapped around her shoulders.
I don't
probably.
understand what was the problem.
Yeah.
But they held them for 5 hours so that he missed some event that he was speaking at where the Chinese ambassador was in attendance.
There we go.
So it was
why
clear
they did it.
political harassment. Clear, deliberate political harassment. He was held under terrorism laws, meaning that he was told that he's not under arrest and he can't leave and he can't stay silent.
Oh.
That's what they detained Tommy Robinson under as well.
Yes.
And
Which
they're
is-
using these more and more widely in order to get their way.
So at no point did they ask George Galloway, and I don't like George Galloway, but at no point did they ask George Galloway, were you involved in trying to bomb something? Were you...
Yeah, what was the terrorist act?
Freedom
of thought. That's terroristic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think he's wrong about most important things in life. I think he's right
George
about a
Galloway
couple of
is
them.
not just wrong about almost everything. He's honestly, I put him in the same league as Corbyn as just being a
Yes,
traitor.
completely.
He's an enemy of the British people, and he sides with every foreign
100%.
interest against us. And it's really annoying that he's such a good rhetorician. Because I
Exactly.
actually really enjoy listening to him talk. Like
Yes.
when he gives a speech on something, you can't deny his skill, but he's a traitor. I mean, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if we're going to hold people under terrorism
But
charges...
he's not a terrorist, he's an idiot.
Exactly.
And then
Like
we
Corbyn.
legitimize this guy.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is
we
what I
reply-
can't get my head round.
Yes.
You know,
A literal Al-Qaeda head chopper.
I know. Who's still killing people in Syria?
Who's
The
still-
Alawis are still being slaughtered.
The Alawis, the Druze, a lot of pressure on the Christian community.
Yeah.
And
And he gets welcomed by the UN. Red carpet rolled out.
And
He might be
David
a
Lammy
jihadist,
proceeds to
but
give
he's
him 100
our
million pounds.
jihadist.
Exactly.
That's literally all it's come down to.
That's
yeah.
exactly what it's come down to. That's exactly what it's come down to. That's all it's come down to. Kevork Almasian had a banger. This is this is Julani's wanted poster from the United States
In 2017.
from 2017.
Yeah.
$10 million reward. Our
cash
friend
it
here
in,
is
yeah.
trying to cash in
Yeah.
while he's having a chat with David Petraeus, former head of the CIA.
It's just extraordinary. It's
was-
absolutely... And then we wonder why there's geopolitical instability.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going to go around arresting terrorists, I think David Lammy's been collaborating with terrorists. I have
mean,
very good reason to believe that.
He literally is collaborating with the terrorists right here.
I think there's a terrorism financing charge waiting for some people in the Foreign Office.
David, you can make some money out of this.
It's just the level of absurdity of it is the most insulting part. But this must be remembered, it's a deliberate humiliation ritual. Yes. They've been wanting to rub your noses in it for quite some time. They know that this is a humiliation ritual. They are going to keep on doing it until things are out of control. And as someone from Lebanon who's
They
seen civil
being the
conflict,
Labour government.
the Labour government, the sort of liberal establishment, whatever you want to call them, as someone from a sort of war-torn country, I pray that we don't go there. But please, Keir Starmer, some introspection, huh?
No, he told us very clearly. Now is not the
introspection.
time for introspection, which I agree with. He's not going to do that.
They arrested Katie Hopkins, or spoke to her, because she said that because she described herself as a spastic.
When did they do this to Kate?
Last
Only the other day, yeah.
Was it?
last
Blimey,
week, I
missed
believe.
it.
Yeah, the 23rd. So, because there's so many of them, Ben, you can't keep up with all
No,
of
I know
them.
it's very difficult. Though I imagine Katie can give as good as she gets.
Yes,
No doubt.
Yeah.
yes. And we have Ed Dutton coming to her defense, saying that she's well within her right to use the word spastic. Good for Ed. Good for Ed.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's. I mean, really, the police are going
I
after
know,
this
I
kind of
just-
stuff.
it's-
But remember, they're the finest.
Yeah.
They're the finest.
yes, and Sarah White, of course.
Yes. So they arrested this lady because she put up the flag on the stairs when the protest area was supposed to stop at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, thank
And
God
that was
someone's
considered-
protecting us.
Enough of a crime to arrest her.
Oh, my God.
You see them here.
But just on that, I'm just going to have a little dig at Farage,
Please,
if I may.
please, yeah.
Sarah White is a prospective councillor for Reform UK, and
Right.
not one senior member of Reform has spoken up for her right to protest.
They
It's
are also
interesting.
trying to save what can be saved from the establishment, but they perhaps do not accept the extent of the rot that needs to be burnt
Reform.
away.
But it's strange
Reform.
how...
I think it's less prosaic than I think Farage just wants power at any cost, and he'll
Yes.
say and
But
do
this,
anything.
but this would be such an easy win. Oh, they've arrested our councillor for flying the British flag. This allows me to very easily jam a wedge between the Labour Party and the Patriots.
Quite.
And point out that actually you're not very patriotic if you're arresting people for flying the British flag. Whereas, of course, we're not going to arrest people for flying
But
the
I
British
think
flag. It's very
Reform has
easy.
forbidden people to go to these
They have, yeah.
migrant hotel protests.
Yes.
But it tells you precisely where their mind is. They're
It's the same micromanaging procedural mindset.
of the Labour Party,
Of the Labour
of the
Party.
Tory Party.
Exactly.
Absolutely right.
It's the same micromanaging proceduralist mindset that is not focused on principle and that is not in
And it's focused on party interests, party before country.
more than that, it's just he doesn't want anybody to put him in an awkward position
Yes.
where the media would be angry with him.
Yes.
In the same way that Boris Johnson decided to open the floodgates so that the FT would write better headlines about
But there's no
it. It's the
redemption.
same mindset.
There's no redemption for this country through that mindset.
And moreover, I suspect that it's inhibiting Farage's polling.
Yes.
Actually, don't get me wrong, being at like 30 to sort of 33% in the polls is very good. But why aren't you at 40 or 50%?
At this
Everyone agrees with the problems. Like, why aren't you going full bore
Yeah.
and going hard on basically patriotism and what the problem are?
I think he's made the first mistake he makes is not to actually be the man that the people want him to be.
Yes.
But also, I think the other mistake he's made is he hasn't realised how strongly the people feel about this.
No.
And he must have looked at the Unite the Kingdom march and thought, blimey, I should have been on that stage. I bet he got FOMO.
What's the reason not to?
Why, they're the British people.
Yeah.
They're your people. Speak to the people.
A million people are in the streets, Nigel. They would have liked to have heard from you.
Yeah.
You know,
Quite.
but
He missed such an opportunity.
And he's missing the point. And without wishing to bring Advance
please.
UK into it, that's why there is room for a party like Advance UK. Because even though
it's not even there's room. It's necessary.
it's
to have a
necessary,
party.
it's absolutely, well, thank you. I think it's
I
absolutely
think it
vital
is.
that there is a party like Advance UK. And even though people are saying, oh, you're going to split the vote, we can have a whole debate about splitting votes. I think Farage and Reform are going to be in for a surprise because the Overton window is much further over than they think it is.
Oh, yeah.
And when we get our registration and when we start polling, we're going to make a much bigger impact. And the numbers that you're seeing for Reform are going to change quite dramatically.
I think Farage doesn't understand the British public is far to his right
Yes.
on almost every issue
Yes.
at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if you think about the success of the left, it was the result of very strong activists very much further to the left of Tony Blair and Keir Starmer,
Pulling him over.
pulling them over, holding their feet to the fire, holding them accountable, keeping on pressing them to make sure that they don't abandon the rest of the project. And so Advance UK, Restore, these other groupings should play the same precise role in terms of imposing a level of integrity on someone like Nigel Farage.
Yeah, I think the word is almost at least a paradox, if not a contradiction.
Yes. Well,
But moreover,
hence impose.
but moreover,
Hence impose, not encourage.
Yes.
Farage is not going to be here forever.
No.
One thing that I think people are forgetting.
Because they're Yusuf next.
Well, that's the point. Without Farage, who have they actually got to be his successor? Well, it's obviously Zia Yusuf. He's been grooming for this position. But are you going to follow Zia Yusuf? Are you going to, obviously we're probably a bad example for the room, but what percentage of Reform voters are actually going to be like, yeah, my man is now Zia Yusuf?
Yes.
No, it is a Farage phenomena.
Well, that's what they're telling us, and okay, I'll accept it, So what happens afterwards?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's Karen.
No, I mean, let's just sort of see what the police are busying themselves with.
At the end of the day,
I'll just head on down to the protest then.
right, so put your flag away until you get there.
What's happening here?
They think that I've got a...
The police are ordering someone to put the flag away until he gets to the protest.
What do you mean, put it away? Have you seen the size of it, love? What am I going to do with it? What are my options here?
Why is this your concern?
Yeah.
Why is this your concern?
Englishman walking around with an England flag, you better put that away, bro.
And he looks like a threat. Well, this was happening yesterday when I was in Newcastle.
Yes, yes.
Because there was a protest up the road. UKIP were marching, and I don't know if this was part of the UKIP march, but this is extraordinary. 16-year-old girl.
Look at the way he grabs that flag and rips it out.
Well, he's a real man. He grabbed it out of the hands of a 16-year-old girl.
But the thing about that is, isn't it? It's like we like to pretend that, the police, they're just good people who are just following rules, and it's the people making the rules that are bad. Well, not all of them, actually.
Not really.
Some of them are absolute total jobsworths who enjoy doing this.
Yeah, you could see two things from this. You could see zero respect for the flag, which is, I think, it's a substantial point. It's important.
Yes.
And you can see the power trip. And you see that with all of these officers who are sort of playing very polite and trying to control themselves, but you could also see the seething. I remember I was arrested one time for distributing pamphlets about please don't have transsexuals reading to children. And the officer arresting me, when he read my pamphlet, began trembling.
Really?
Literally began trembling in a sort of uncontrollable, seething rage.
Found a transphobe. Oh my God, they warned me this would happen.
Exactly. And I asked him, you're arresting me. Why are you shaking?
Yeah, I should be shaking.
And then they turned nasty. They tried to tell me, we can dispose of you in a couple of ways. I'm like, do whatever you want.
Did you explain to him that you were an immigrant? That might have helped.
Maybe I should have.
You don't look and feel like an immigrant.
I try my best to integrate, Ben. So you see that on the personal level, it turned out some senior guy spoke to me, and at the end I tried to shake his hand, but it was in public before I got arrested. Just trying to be a gentleman about it. He absolutely refused because he was worried that the Trantifa, who were there protesting one guy with pamphlets, would snap a photograph of him, and that would be the end of his career.
Right.
So the senior most officers are completely woke, and the people with any integrity have left. And you see these kids on a power trip who are completely ideological, that constitutes the police force.
The two girls with the Britain First guys, that was a power trip.
Exactly.
That was 100% a power trip, because there's no way, Paul Golding's not a small guy. There's no way that these young ladies would have been able to bully him outside of that context.
Exactly. And so, when you can, maybe you should consider doing this.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Can I ask you the purpose of your recordings today, sir?
No, thank you.
Sorry?
No, thank you.
Why not?
I don't wish to talk today.
Sorry?
I don't wish to talk today.
I can't understand you, sir.
I don't wish to talk today. Thank you.
Don't wish to talk?
No, thank you.
Okay, where have you come from? Where do you go into?
Just completely ignored them. walked away.
How dare the policeman ask him where he's from and where he's going?
Why he's recording? I'm walking down the street recording. I can do whatever I like.
I know.
Because the law is written in such a way so that if someone claims to be offended, if someone claims to be upset, if someone claims to have been caused distress, the police can intervene. And the way the law is written in a manner that permits the police to intervene in any political speech on that basis. Because if I disagree with you with your politics, there's a good chance one of us might get offended. Especially if it gets into a heated argument, which it always does on X.
And it's not just that as well. It's the general atmosphere of the institution is very clearly, you've got to make sure that those people who are following the rules are following them in the way that we want them followed.
Quite.
Don't worry about those violent criminals with the knives.
Yes.
You won't be tasked with investigating that.
Yes.
But the chap walking down the street, make sure that you know where he's going.
So the police are saying that they want the law changed so that they don't have to police tweets. But last I checked...
Surely it's discretionary anyway.
In the same way that they, on their own discretion, choose not to pursue shoplifting, theft, rape, murder.
Burglaries.
When Shabana Mahmood says these are the finest, that this is the finest police force, I'm sorry, this is official government data. And I'm going to read some segments from it. The proportion of crimes, excluding fraud and computer misuse, resulting in a charge or summons increased slightly to 5.7%.
Oh my God! There's a 94.3% chance you just
Of getting
won't
away,
be charged.
Exactly.
Just
any crime you commit, you have to be a moron to get arrested if you commit a crime in Britain. Other than tweeting or saying something.
Hang on, calm. I was going to say calm down because that's throwing a lot of shade on the online right there. Because we're getting arrested constantly.
Exactly.
And of course, a much smaller proportion get convicted.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Precisely.
God damn.
The most common reason is no suspect having been identified. They couldn't find anybody.
Who did it, bro?
Around 1 in 9 offences involving a firearm were closed with a charge or a summons.
My God.
So about 12% of all shootings resulted in some criminal action, some serious criminal action.
But you know why this is, right? It's because they are dealing with communities that basically do not recognize their authority.
Precisely.
And will not cooperate with them.
Precisely.
Of course, the police, if something happens in sort of like, my area, mostly middle-class white people, so they will, oh, did you hear something? Oh, yeah, maybe I did, But, it's the sort of Sasha Johnson case. Do you know about that case?
No, I don't.
So there's this radical black activist, young lady called Sasha Johnson, constantly defund the police, I hate white people, all that sort of stuff. And at a house party, she was out on a Sunday night at like 3 a.m., some urban youths turned up and started shooting into the house. She took a bullet to the brain and is now in a wheelchair, and no one knows who did it because the community will not cooperate with the police to find the people who did it.
Yep.
And so it's exactly that example of we don't cooperate with the police, and so you're now in a wheelchair forever, and whoever did this to you will get away with it, and nothing will ever happen.
Yep.
I suppose on X they know precisely who posted it.
Well, I mean, possibly, but this is the point, right?
They don't recognize the legitimacy of the police.
Exactly.
And you see the same with the knife crime.
The police don't feel like they are legitimate policing those communities either because of all of the woke ideology. And so they don't feel... Because, okay, let's assume, you go back 50, 60 years, okay, you've got a community who, we don't recognize the authority of the police, and the police be like, okay, but we've got the clubs. We don't care.
Yeah, but now they won't go there.
Exactly.
No.
Now they're like, well, better avoid that. It's like, no, you club them into submission. They will recognize the authority of the police.
And it was again, with the Southport protests, with the counter-protests, where the police were pleading with the counter-protesters not to take out weapons.
But the weapons in the mosques.
But the weapons in the mosques.
Yeah, mad. Absolutely.
Please.
Sorry.
Don't forget the please.
Yeah. Courtesy
is very important in a situation like that.
But that's the point, that there's the stewards of these communities, not the rulers of these communities.
Exactly. And the rate of arresting people, charging people for crimes has gone down from 11% in the good old days of 2016 to just 4.6% where there is a victim identified.
Must be Brexit, I guess, is it?
Yet another reason to rejoin.
As in, they've let go.
Yeah.
And Shabana Mahmood is saying that they're the finest. Come on.
Well, hey, let's take a look.
Come on.
This is the plan. This is what they want for the country, right?
Yeah.